Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Mr. Dana and everyone. We are from Group 2 and we will present the result of our discussion about management of plant disease with regulation, technical culture, and resistant plant. Let me introduce our group member. The first one is Nola, the second is Irsyad, then Bias, Millati, Nafisa, Hidayah Bhakti, and Putri Aprilia. And we will discuss about the first is control with regulation, the second is technical culture control, physical and mechanical, and the third is use of resistant plant varieties.
Control with regulations. The regulations referred to here are government regulations. This regulation is intended to clean up pathogens that have just entered a new area and an effort to prevent the entry of a pathogen into a new area that is still free of pathogens. The term quarantine comes from the word quarantine, which means 40, because in the past, if there was a ship carrying passengers with infectious disease, the ship had to wait 40 days at the port, and after that period, the people who were still alive were considered to have been released from disease and allowed to go ashore. Plant quarantine aims to prevent the introduction and spread of plant pests and disease by using the egg, so that it will mainly only be useful for diseases that are spread through trade. In Law No. 16 of 1992, it has been started the quarantine of officers have the right to carry out quarantine actions in the form of inspection, isolation, observation, treatment, archery, rejection, destruction, and release.
Technical culture control, physical mechanical. This method is done, among others, by manipulating the environment so that the activity of the pathogen is inhibited. Pruning shade plants, for example, on coffee plant to reduce humidity so that it can prevent the attack of the fungus Hemilia Pastarix pathogen, a dangerous disease.
Use of resistant plant varieties. This method utilizes varieties that have been tested to be resistant to certain disease. Planting plants that are resistant to disease is an effective, inexpensive, and harmless way to control the environment. There are basically two types of plant resistance.
In one is genetic resistant or innate. Plants are able to regenerate dead tissue or plant cells in areas infected with pathogen experience rapid death. This dead cell will inhibit the infection or pathogen, while the cells behind have regenerated rapidly. In tissues where cell divide, auxin activity increase and can inhibit the activity of cellulose and peptinase enzyme released by pathogen. And second is ecological resistant or false resistant, namely plant resistant caused by environmental factor that allows showing resistant to certain pathogen attacks.
For the case, the example of stem root disease control caused by Ganoderma boninense in technical culture can be done through several methods. The whole in-home planting system experiment consisted of planting with a whole in-hole system and standard planting as a comparison. The incidence of root rot disease was observed annually. The results show that technical culture control methods could prevent G. bulminans infection in the early stage of oil palm development.
Can discuss is one of the plant pests that can cause donut plant growth and development. The study control methods are environmentally friendly, which can be applied to avoid the adverse effect of using pesticides. One form of successful from the application of IVT-based control in the success of technical culture control is preventing G. bulminans infection in the early stage of oil palm development, as discussed above.
Thank you. That's all from our group. And if you have any question, please go to Spada.